guys, here we go. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for letting me be your DM, GM, right? And we're starting the campaign for Oregonia. Session 0, we talked about the Endless War and King Tiershan defeating Morgoth, right? And we're now operating with the Tiershan Calendar. It's year 218, so essentially Morgoth was defeated 218 years ago. We're in the 3rd month of Wood. This calendar is probably a month in advance of our current calendar. So the month of Wood is the 2nd month in the year. But that year actually starts like February 1st in our year. So like it's sunnier, warmer, deeper into spring in the 2nd month. The year started when Tiershan killed Morgoth. It's not like based on any solar stuff or anything like that. So it's about a month warmer or whatever, just as long as that's, just so you get an idea of what the weather's like and things. I'm now going to go ahead and just read the history of Eugenia, because that's where you guys are set up. A couple basic concepts. Eugenia is just right in the middle of the state, right in the middle of the map. It is the heart of Oregonia. It's what would be I-5 in our world. I'm calling territorial highway, which is actually what it was back in the day. It started up historically, became 99, blah, blah, blah. So territorial highway is the primary north-south road that goes through Oregonia. And then there is a trail that heads east towards Bend and west towards the coast. So we've got that, right, within Oregonia. And, because Eugenia is just smack dab in the middle and more or less at the base of the Willamette Valley, which is rife with animals and, you know, good growing territory, and it's just an abundant region. Eugenia is a crossroads, and so people have been coming from all around for a long time to that central part, so that's more or less how it came up. So now I'm just going to go ahead and read something more formal for you guys. So we call this Saphine's Eugenia. Saphine is a person you're going to hear about. Due to its location at the southern conclusion of the Willamette Valley, Eugenia acquired its name from Elven lore long before the memory of time as a region of cultural fertility. It was a natural gathering place on the threshold between the open liberated hills and flatlands of the valley and the wilder nooks and crannies of the southland's dense mountains and forests. As the root meaning of its name would imply, Eugenia became associated as the place of good genes by people spread far and wide whose paths had at least once passed through the inevitable crossroads of the area, if they didn't already intend to someday visit there in the future. At the root of Eugenia's cultural diversity that promotes a great tolerance of different folk and their lore lie the stable flagstones of commerce and industry. From its inception, Eugenia has long been rich in agriculture due to the constant embrace of the rains with the region's deep brown soils, and of course, lumber was always a bountiful resource throughout all of Oregonia. With these resources at its foundation, Eugenia rapidly became a primary center of trade and commerce, second only to Portlandia, which was so significantly located along the Great Columbia River, mighty artery of Oregonia. So Portlandia is up north. The second primary artery of Oregonia is Territorial Highway, which runs north-south through the Willamette Valley, ever known as the heart of Oregonia. Due to its significance, both as a cultural and industrial leader, Eugenia inherited a great portion of the region's mercenary responsibilities, specifically in protecting the commerce and trade which thrived along the expanse of the Territorial Highway. Although legend has it King Tiershan dubbed Eugenia the Emerald Jewel of Oregonia, history reveals he only visited the region on one solitary occasion, many years ago, in an attempt to reach the greatest diversity of people at one time, as a last-ditch effort to unite all the good-intentioned creatures of Oregonia to rise up against the chaotic tyranny of Dark Lord Morgoth. However brief a visit it was, Eugenia has long taken credit for tipping the scales that finally ended the war of centuries. As a result, the city has a long history of mercenary tradition and order, which has maintained a strong sense of peace in what is otherwise a social hotbed. The smooth and steady flow of open market commerce within Eugenia is overseen by the city fathers, a congregation of wealthy merchants, land barons, and nobility. At the heart of this circle of influence resides Safin, overlord of Eugenia. He won his prowess almost 20 years ago as a mighty warrior defending the borders of the territorial highway. He has become a figure of contemporary legend for his exceptional skills as an archer, and has extended his prowess to his now renowned troop of mercenaries, commonly referred to as the Safin. Although it's rumored he denies it, it's often suggested that Safin is indeed a descendant of King Tiershan himself, which of course breeds inflated romantic tales among the locals that Eugenia's very own overlord is heir to the throne of the Tiershan Empire, overseeing all the lands of Oregonia. Safin is an exceptionally charismatic and honorable man whose military prowess and policies of cultural tolerance were critical to the creation of the 13 overlords. I told you about the 13 overlords overseeing all of Oregonia before. Safin is a very reasonable but firm man who actively strives to embrace the variety of people Eugenia attracts. Half Elven himself, he has long been an influential diplomat in the interaction between the various elves of the region who thrive along the borders where humans also dare to travel. He is very tolerant of the various religious practices of the region, himself typically, but humbly, deferring to the most indigenous of the area, that of the Finnish belief. Although he encourages the open celebration of their various holy days and festivals, Safin only allows the most primitive of temples to be established within the borders of Eugenia, which typically tend to be as simple meeting grounds within the natural shrines of the Emerald City's many lush parks. The largest gathering is a Finnish enclave of Druids who've camped along the Willamette River running through the heart of the city, where they hold daily services at the base of Skinner's Butte. Eugenia's industry is thriving, and its roads have been flooding with people coming to live off the bounty of the region. But with that have also come the dark hordes of demi-humans who've come to thrive like vermin, scavengers, and parasites on the fat and detritus of civilization.
What is a demi-human?
Anything other than you.
All right.
Everything from dwarves to orcs, everything that is not a human.
But dwarves are cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a lot of tension amongst all of those different, but goblins, orcs, bugbears, well, they're not demi-humans. There are many other demi-humans. My brain's kind of freezing up there. So, of demi-humans, dark hordes of demi-humans who have come to thrive like vermin, scavengers, and parasites on the fat and detritus of civilizations. Territorial highway has virtually become impossible to defend, and more mercenaries than ever are being recruited to protect the private interests of merchant supply trains and the disenfranchised refugees supplanted from their homes by rampant forest fires, insipid beasts, and untamed greed. Because of the pressures imposed upon the supply lines, rates of most goods and wares have steadily been on the increase, especially as the supply of skilled technicians is thinned by chronic mercenary recruitment of the city's laborers and peasants. With these inflated prices, lumber in particular has skyrocketed to outrageous highs, driving people into the hills to harvest it as if it were worth its weight in gold. Between the merchants, the elves, the druids, mercenaries, bandits, and poachers, and the growing rumors of even darker forces at work, people have begun to speak of the invisible revolution, at the heart of which people have dubbed the pervading strife the War of the Trees. So, Eugenia is right in the thick of it with all of that. got more to share, but with that intro, or do you guys have any questions that you want to ask about?
Did you say he was a half elf, Sabine, or just an elf?
Half.
And where were all the demi-humans again?
They are just, it's more of what I was saying about the kind of territories becoming unsettled from, whether it's just a strange rumbling in the area, but we also know that, you know, there are forest fires happening all over the place that are, you know, displacing humans, elves, and other creatures.
So they're just gonna spread out sporadically around Eugenia.
Yeah, and just throughout all of Oregonia, but Eugenia is just smack dab in the middle.
And the humans view them as scavengers and parasites, is that?
The humans don't, I mean, the humans are a complex mix themselves. They don't necessarily all get along with each other either. And there are definitely humans that get along with dwarves and elves and etc. But there's just strife. There are people feeling displaced. People don't fully know who to trust. There are rumors of even elves burning the forests. Could that even be a thing? You know, so there's just kind of a lot of distrust, finger pointing, people feeling like other people are taking their resources.
What's like the level of like racism?
It's kind of,
Yeah. Like if I encounter two gnomes, am I like fuck off or like?
I think that is all decided by you and your own senses.
Good, thank you.
And yeah, there are many, you know, so like Eugenia is a cultural hotbed and crossroads that is creating a space for people to be comfortable with their differences.
Especially to have elven ruler.
Yeah, it's a liberal hotbed. So it's not, you know, that's a place where people can kind of go to be themselves ideally, but that's also, so there's a maintenance of the law within Eugene. It's definitely, it's got mercenary troops, it's got the Safine, it wants people to be respectful to each other. But at the same time, it's not necessarily strictly lawful good. There's an openness to everybody's differences that creates a little bit of chaos within all of that, you know?
So I can see like an orc walking down the street and I'm not like drawing my like weapon or anything, right?
Half orc probably. An orc might be tending towards,
Okay.
there are half orcs out there, but yeah, orcs are. So another thing in this world, half elves are pretty prolific, and in many ways they are the bridge builders. They are the people between that tension that's very much happened between the elves and the humans. And there's distinct tension between the elves and the humans. The humans are consumers of natural resources. The elves kind of have a longer view of living with those resources than just consuming them. At the same time, you need wood to like make a good bow. You need minerals to make a good sword, you know, you need. So, you know, it's not all clear cut by any means, but allegiances need to be made. And then there are clearly evil people, you know, and monsters.
Who are the 13 overlords again? I like vaguely remember.
Speaking of evil people.
Yeah, the 13 overlords
Or them. They're evil.
Those kind of insane.
I'm chaotic neutral.
Hillsborough, Gresham, Beaverton, Vancouver, McMinnville, Astoria, Salem, Corvallis, Albany, Eugenia, Bend, Grants Pass, and Medford all have representatives.
Okay, copy.
Okay.
So a couple other things to kind of grasp about Oregonia. Most of the populations are about 1/3 of like where we're at right now.
Okay.
You know, so like you're not going to be going into Portland and there being almost 2 million people with all of those regions. Also things like Springfield isn't really a place, it's a field of springs. You know, there's natural spring water that comes up out of
So no difference.
It's just like real life.
You know, yeah, I think so. There's some things that we're not going to take quite so literally within our own knowledge of the region. There are more trees throughout Oregonia than we see right now. The valley is still big, wide open farmlands, but you'll see more forests through these valleys, and farmlands there's smaller. They're not owned by big, large corporations and stuff like that. So that is that basic concept. Now, some other things that I want to tell you about Eugene. It has a big wall built around most of it, primarily the north side of it. The southern part of Eugene is protected in many ways by the natural foothills, and then it's got littler stretches of wall through those foothills,
That's sort of
or
like the way Eugene actually is with all the hills and stuff.
exactly, right?
Cool.
So there's mercenary and military encampments in the hills protecting gaps in the hills, because there's going to be natural breaches where if there were a horde of an army coming through, there's natural ways they're going to come in. So that's kind of strategically protected, whereas on the north side of Eugene, there's a big wall that pretty much wraps around that whole side, and there's a couple entryways. I'll explain more of that to you guys. But because there's a big protective wall, and Eugene has so much attraction to it because it's a crossroads in the middle of the state, and it's a great place to hang out, and there's a lot of opportunity. With all of the refugees, they're flocking to Eugene. The other thing is Eugene is central in the state, so like when Safine got involved in protecting territorial highway, Eugene is strategically in the middle of the state. So if there's going to be any military procedures and stuff like that, Eugene's a great place for all of those military officers to gather and make plans before they run off to some other area, right?
Would the refugees be like hanging out in Eugene or like outside?
Outside of Eugene, so that's actually what I'm getting to. There's a place called the Gateway Outpost. So essentially where the Gateway Mall is,
Oh god. You're gonna realize that
In
I'm
Springfield.
literally new to Eugene.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Springfield, and it's just to the right of I-5.
Yeah.
I'm doing a great job.
Okay? And so like when you're coming into Eugene, you can go down I-5 a little bit and get onto the 105 that brings you to the heart of Eugene, or over here on the left, you can just see it off I-5, is the Gateway Mall.
Right.
So in Eugenia, that is where there is a big military/refugee encampment. The military are helping the refugees, and the refugees are just gathering there. And a lot of people don't have the money. Most towns to get into, it's going to cost you a couple copper pieces to get through for your toll fee. Eugenia has a particularly expensive entry fee of 2 silver pieces, which for people like yourself can not be maybe Block over here, it might be an issue, or Forest, but 2 silver pieces for a lot of other refugees and whatnot, that's a lot of money.
I wouldn't think a man of God would have to pay an entry fee.
And you can work on your,
But a gnome of God would.
there's some skills in there that you can use to bluff your way in if you want. But so just knowing that so a lot of people just can't afford to get into Eugene. Now that's not to say that there isn't a lower class inside of Eugene, but much of the lower class inside of Eugene are like from families that have grown up there forever. And Eugenia is, so it's not like elitist, they just can't handle all those people coming in, right? So there's a huge outpost. There could be, at any point in time, between like 1,000 and 3,000 refugees outside at the gateway.
How are the living conditions like? Are they able to get like water and like decent amounts of food?
They're there because of the Springfields,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
right? So Springfield is a natural aquifer for Eugenia and the Beltway farmland. So, I mean, the Beltline farmland. So Beltline in this area is referring to the Beltline. It's the fat that feeds everybody. So the Beltline is literally a road that goes through the primary southern farmlands that feed into Eugenia, but also it is a place where all sorts of resources are kind of coming to Eugene and then being distributed out to other towns. So there's also the Oakway area that is outside of Eugene that is like a big warehousing place for goods and services to be transported. And that is being protected by the military over at Gateway. And the military at Gateway is also serving the refugees. So there is a huge tent encampment of refugees. And as refugees go, they're doing pretty well. Because they're in one of the most, there's a lot of food to be had, and you know, and it is like a heartful, loving region where they're trying to. So, should you find yourself displaced, very often you go, I'm probably going to head to Eugenia, you know, and go to the Gateway area and find out what's up. And because there's also opportunities for employment, blah blah blah, and that's where all of the things that I sent you as far as your beckonings, you guys have all passed into the Gateway. That's where you are,
Hell yeah.
right? So now,
Sean's laughing over there because he's like seeing the relation of the housing displaced people.
yeah,
The formerly house.
Yeah, before
and then
moving
things
out.
like immigration and stuff like that we've got going on. You know, it's like there's some real life stuff going on.
More is in Rushania.
Is there like a gnome town?
You guys Oakville, bro.
Like a Gnomeville? I'm dying to know about you guys.
So Middleford,
Mountain, bro.
which is the original name historically in Oregon history for Medford.
Oh, okay.
So that whole region down there has a bunch of gnomes,
Oh shit.
Chock full of us.
which you've heard a little bit about because you're,
Sure.
yeah, I gave you a bit of your backstory, and
Yeah.
if you, when you read it, you'll remember that when you read it, that your dad
Yeah.
told tales of that region. So in your beckoning, I let all of you know that you were given a piece of parchment, right? This is it. You can look at both sides, pass it around.
Did you make this?
I should have made 4, but
Do I have any idea what that wheel symbol would mean for like families? Like if there's like a certain family or something that it's represented by.
that's kind of what's coming to mind to you. So most industries have symbols to represent themselves. So that's like, you're going, a wagon wheel,
We'll do it. Oh,
right? That's the map, and that's the wagon wheel.
Was it Caleb's character that can't read?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Oh, no, he's literate now. He's literate, we talked about it, yeah. He actually got that as, he took that as a skill.
Good.
I called him, I was like, okay, I'm working on something, I need to know whether you can read it or not.
Dude.
I guess you could ask someone, you know?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what I had to work out. I was
Yeah.
like, okay. So, yeah, is there anything you guys are getting out of that illustration there?
Well,
We need to go there.
So silly.
so the evening bells is at the crossroads. I can't figure out what this symbol is.
That symbol, good question, that symbol is essentially,
Is it the wheel?
uh-huh,
Okay.
yeah. So it's kind of telling you kind of a place to go to,
Sure.
right?
Call.
And what does this look like?
Oh,
Either river or track.
What does that look like?
The arrow?
Yeah, what does that look like the arrow's going?
I would say that that's the path north over the river, and that's a bridge. That's my guess.
Okay, that makes sense. So, you guys heard about the evening bells and the water clock, right? You guys know about water clocks?
That I don't know.
Water clocks are an actual invention that, so a drop of water is universally a certain size. So if you can make something drop a certain amount of water into a container, it can move a wheel on an incremental basis. So if you can make water drop out at a certain time increment, you can make a clock. Okay? So they have this clock that then makes the bells ring in the evening of each night.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and so you guys at this point in time hear those evening bells over in Eugenia, and you know what it's all about. It's a pretty basic concept. It's like, okay, sunset, there's a ringing going on. It's kind of like, okay, everybody, the end of the business day, time to go and have dinner, So that's the basic notion there. So you guys are, it is a kind of balmy, early spring day. It's not really spring yet, it's about a month shy of spring. But you can almost feel the heat coming through the overcast. It's just one of those Eugene days, Eugenia days. Kind of humid. You can actually, you're sweating. Even though it's still moist from the winter out there, the grass is all tall and thick, but it's not, it could rain tomorrow. It's March, essentially, in our current world.
So did you say that we were in 3 of wood? I thought you said that we were in 2 of wood.
3 of wood,
3 of wood.
which is the 3rd day.
Okay.
And that is the 2nd month in the Tiershan calendar, but by our calendar it'd be the 3rd month.
Okay, that's
So it's a little warmer in the season.
Happy day.
And so I also put this book together for you guys, right? You guys can always keep. It's got the Safine's Eugenia in it. It's got the Oregonia story in it if you guys want to refer to it. I'll also email this stuff to you guys. Here's the image of the actual colored calendar, but here is actual blank the calendar that you guys can write on, take notes if you want. We can eventually make copies if each of you want one, but if one of you wants to be a note keeper at all, here is your,
I'll take one.
Yeah.
to be the note keeper
Yeah.
for the group, or,
Motion to make the beguiler the note keeper.
Yeah, exactly.
there you go.
It's all like lies. It's just constantly, it's totally made up.
It's written.
And so then, one other thing is, these are days, so like Sunday is Aquine, Monday is insect, Tuesday is reptile, so you're actually going from water to insect, to lizard, to avian bird, to beast, to man, to mutant. So there's like an evolutionary progression there through the 7 days.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So yeah, you guys all had your opportunities fall in your lap in one way or another with this piece of parchment that came to you. And Forrest is actually inside the city. He went through Gateway and ended up someplace else, but the 3 of you guys need to make your ways there. You're not together.
Cool.
What you do know is that there are, from where you are, there are 3 primary accesses into Eugenia. I may end up reading this to you guys, but here we go. Yeah, I'm just going to read this. So you've had your map. Okay, so I'm going to just start reading. Eugenia is surrounded by a wall approximately 100 feet tall, with archers randomly gathered along the ramparts above. There are 3 entrances that are most readily accessible from Gateway. The first is a small entrance on the east side, near Glenwood, where only well-established citizens are allowed access, or those willing to pay an exorbitant surcharge, not the typical 2 silver pieces, an exorbitant surcharge. You guys aren't even, it's not even crossing your,
On the
your
radar.
mind there. Yeah. The busiest access point, commonly known as the Ferry Street Bridge, is primarily used for delivery of imports and exports. It is literally a ferry that regulates the constant flow of goods across the Willamette River for the ever-hungry demands of the city. Further west lies the main entrance for citizens and general visitors, known as the Oakway entrance. It opens onto Main Street, which spills directly into the heart of Eugenia. That's essentially where 105 comes down onto Jefferson.
Cool.
Okay. So the three of you get up to your 100-foot wall. You've walked through this Oakway area where there are carts coming back and forth from Territorial Highway, and what you know, those carts are like merchant carts, farmers' carts. They're full of supplies, fabrics, wood, tools, things that have been manufactured and they're being brought in, or they're just full of vegetables, fruit, and stuff like that. And there's just a constant flow of that stuff going into Oakway from Territorial Highway. You've walked along that road, and then you cut directly south, essentially through what would be the Valley River Mall. And there's all sorts of orchards and all of that outside of there. There's also a big kind of market bazaar. That is where all sorts of people have set up. It's like a Saturday market times 100. It's just huge. With you know, you could buy turnips from 10 different booths. You know, you can buy burritos, whatever people are making. You know, clothes, fabrics. It's a big marketplace outside of Eugene for travelers from all around that want to go there. You make your way through that to the big gate of Eugenia. That's the Oakway entrance. And if you want in, you got to pay 2 silver pieces each.
I'm pulling you up.
Yeah.
I can smell all the different smells of the different food being cooked, the different, human mixed with dwarven, elven stench, and I'm at
Dust,
fucking
horse apples.
height, dude.
Yeah.
Like 37 inches fucking.
Yeah, it's teeming
3'7",
with
dude.
people. There's just like,
I fucking scored an apple off the ground when I was strolling through the orchards. It's only rotten on one side, and I'm just.
yeah, the whole area, like Eugene is historically a big orchard. So this whole area, this region's just got hazelnuts, peaches, cherries, apples, although it is early in the year. Okay, after paying your 2 silver pieces, you descend
Who am I paying? Like, who do I have to pay?
the some mercenary guards.
Is there just like one of them that I'm interacting with?
There's about 6. I mean, there's one. There's 6 there.
There's 6 there?
Yeah.
Okay. And, okay, I'm just gonna pay this 2 silver.
Guns blazing!
Like, that's rules.
I was
It's like
gonna
those 2 silver
fucking ring frost them all,
Yeah.
but I'll.
2 silver pieces.
I'll
Yeah.
let them go this time.
Middle of this town where everyone's
You
like,
don't want to end up not being welcome.
Yeah, I'll pay the 2 silver.
Okay. After paying your 2 silver piece toll, you descend down onto the main. So you went across a bridge to get to the gates, by the way. So you crossed over the Willamette River. After paying your 2 silver piece toll, you descend down onto Main Street, which is only mildly active as the sun sets upon the day. You see the occasional pedestrian and horse cart, but otherwise most of the shops and merchants have closed for the day as everyone heads home for supper. Where your map directs you to the area left of Main Street, you see a series of larger stone buildings aligning the streets that comprise what they call the Old Manor District, mostly small fortresses and keeps that serve as both residents and hubs of industry and commerce. So pretty much back in the feudal days, people had small castles with their own walls and great doors that you got into, and that might be where they like had a blacksmith, and they made a whole bunch of money there, so they had to protect that, you know. Like before Eugenia had walls, there would probably be actual fighting between those people in their manor houses and stuff way back in the day, right? Like competition among the wealthy. But so, as each of you make your way into the Old Manor District, because you can tell that that's kind of what where it's pointing to, right?
Mhm.
By the butte is over there, it's, the arrows to the left of the bridge, so. As each of you make your way into the Old Manor district, you see a large turquoise and emerald flag glowing high in the sky where it rises from the tall tower. You identify the symbol of a white spoked wheel emblazoned across the billowing fabric. It's bisected at the middle by turquoise on top, like sky, and emerald on the bottom, like earth. The symbol very much resembles that printed upon your piece of parchment. You follow the flag to a large nondescript fortress that occupies the entirety of the block. A manor house approximately 150 feet wide with a turreted wall 30 feet high and a tall 80 by 20 foot tower on the northwest corner upon which the flag is mounted. Towards the center of the block, 4 humans can be seen smoking and talking among themselves. They appear to be sentries for the manor as they are clad in turquoise and emerald capes with matching caps. As you get closer, you see they're armed with short swords, and large shields can be seen idly leaning against the hewn stone wall. As you approach, and you guys are approaching at separate times, as you approach, their demeanor is casual as one man calmly inquires, "Have you been granted an invitation?"
Yeah, I present the thing, yeah.
Yeah. Upon revealing
Also, question, how big are their shields?
2 feet by 3 feet.
Trash.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Your tower, your shield.
He's howling
towers
this like
over
6
them.
foot by 3 foot, like dragging it down
I
the
mean-
street.
They sound big enough.
So,
Size of the shield.
Upon revealing your piece of parchment, each of you are then ushered through a 20-foot wide opening below a retracted iron portcullis, where the guard then says, "Your host will be with you shortly. There's grub and grog waiting, but you must leave your weapons here at the gate. It's a gentleman's affair." He nods to a table just inside the entry covered with various weapons. Looking closely, you see an orderly collection: 3 long swords, 3 short swords, 3 throwing axes, and a line of 7 daggers, a longbow, a short bow, and 2 quivers of arrows. It appears a handful of people have already arrived and agreed to keep the peace by not keeping their pieces.
Ah! I reluctantly surrender my dagger, and although jokingly leaning on my gnome hook hammer, dude, I fucking relent and give it up.
Yeah.
Right on. Give up your shield and your...
What do you do?
I'm not with you guys.
No, you're there. You're arriving too.
Oh,
But
My
you're
bad.
all
It's like in the
arriving.
woods.
You're not together. You're all arriving one at a time. But this is for all of you.
okay.
Right? You followed the piece of parchment, right?
I did decide to do that. I just thought you were gonna bring me in
Yeah,
at a different
this is-
time. Okay.
Yeah. You guys are all arriving at the destination.
What's
Yeah, I give up my scythe and my dagger.
Scythe.
Found it.
I'll put my spear up. I'll put my spear there. I want to look at whoever's surveilling me and see like how closely they're paying attention as I'm doing all this.
You can see that the area you're in is 20 feet deep, right? It's a bit like you're at an entryway going in. You can see that there are a bunch of guys in the courtyard. You can hear some noise. And there's one guy that stepped in with you, and then 3 guys out there. So pretty much there's one guy with you.
Yeah. And he's like making eye contact with me as I'm.
Yep.
Okay. I'll put my spear up. Just keep going.
The vibe is pretty congenial. It's just a day in the life, like going to McDonald's. You're not feeling any hostility. He's going about his business. He's kind of more or less expecting you to go about your business. So, all right. So then, after adding your weapons to the lot, you enter a courtyard approximately 80 feet wide and 60 feet across. To the right, you observe the daily industry of the manor as men load a series of three wagons with crates, and a half-dozen horses are in various stages of being fed, groomed, and harnessed. Nearer you to the left, a dozen or so men are gathered around a table of dirty tin plates and a large cast iron pot, the sides of which are covered with the greasy drippings of some nondescript stew. The men casually talk and jest, aware of your entry but mostly disinterested as they pursue their leisure. Swords and shields lean against the nearby wall. A few men appear to be playing a game of dice, while others gather around an arm wrestling match between two men deadlocked above a small pile of silver and gold coinage. Looking up and around the courtyard, you can also see a few men with bows and crossbows loosely keeping watch from the ramparts above.
I eat as much as I can. I fucking like, I'm 19, I shamelessly
You're looking
pick
for,
it.
yeah, they're not letting you eat. Yeah, that's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
You can
like,
start walking over there and they're kind of looking at you.
yeah,
And you kind of go, oh, well, like,
yeah.
maybe I'm not.
I still push the envelope until it's like pretty clear.
One guy's like,
Okay, then it's like,
go that way.
okay, yeah.
Go that way. Yeah. So, and then the sentry that brought you in directs you beyond the table of men towards an open pair of large arched doors where you can see other folk entering. So that's your right. Oh, okay. As you approach, about 6 feet to the right of the doorway, you see a surly-looking, muscular human with a shaved head wearing a tight, sleeveless brown leather tunic above well-worn leather breeches and riding boots. He sits on a barrel, calmly oiling a glistening longsword. When you make eye contact, his frown breaks into a rough half-smile. Getting a better view of the man, you can't help but notice a large tattoo of what appears to be a wagon wheel covering much of the left side of his hairless skull, just above the ear. As you step through the arched doorway into a large 50 by 50 chamber with men of various shapes and sizes milling about, another sentry welcomes you. Help yourself to drink and food. He gestures towards a small table bearing a cluster of tin goblets next to three barrels marked water, mead, and wine. And you see a table that I'll tell you about here. The room appears to be a formal dining hall or great room. Turquoise and emerald drapery runs down each side of the far wall where a tapestry hangs above a fire blazing in the hearth. A large pile of wood, fire utensils, and a few crates are stacked to the right. Central to the room are 4 rows of long 20-foot tables with chairs lining each side. The thirdmost table, to the right, is laid out with a buffet of food. Bread, various cheeses, pickles, exotic fruits, sausage, game hens, and a platter of yams, potatoes, and turnips. Plates sit in front of each chair, some of which are already occupied by a handful of guests, none of whom are any too shy about indulging and imbibing greedily in the
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, going for it. All
Turn
right.
ups, bro. Fucking vegetation.
Yeah. I like sample everything. I'm just like, what the fuck?
There's plenty of plates too.
I'm vegan.
Vegan playthrough.
One portly human, clad in grimy leather armor, exclaims through a mouthful of sausage and hen, "Food fit for a king will fit in my opportunist gullet. Will still fit in my opportunist gullet." The sarcastic elf volleys back, "If not for your attire, that proud gut would boast homage to far too many kings." The small chorus of laughter leaves the portly man frowning red-faced into his plate. The food consumes most everyone's attention as a few more men proceed into the room and help themselves to delicious bounty as directed. Everybody's macking out.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna drink. Yeah.
There is water.
Yeah, I'll drink the water.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting
There's
drunk.
no meat or wine.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have it. But
Yeah, no, I'm not
Yeah,
getting
you're
drunk
not that
before a
kind of
fucking
guy.
business deal
Okay.
or some shit.
Dude, have a bit of wine.
Yeah, you do.
A fair amount for them. They have pints!
A few minutes pass before the door of the great room is heard closing, conjuring an imminent sense of anticipation as everyone's eyes turn to watch the tattooed and notably sworded warrior cross the room and settle onto a stool where he silently eyes the motley gathering from beside the fire.
I go up to him. I'm like, if I can, like, unless it's like super weird. And I'm like, hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's the food?
Dude, this is amazing. Thank you. Excited to
welcome.
be here.
Yeah,
What's
we're
up?
glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Arn will be here in just a minute.
Okay. So what's your name?
Bolin.
Bowling, nice. So obviously you work for this family. You're pretty committed. So
You're poisoning. He laughs.
yeah, they must be really like an honorable family if you're that like dedicated to them.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else. This is my home.
Wow,
Yeah, you're lucky to be here.
it feels like it.
Yep.
Feels like it.
Sit and enjoy your food.
Okay, yeah, all right. Trying to practice.
And he's kind of a surly guy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Drink more wine.
In the awkward silence of the closed room, everyone can better assess the attendees gathered. A sundry crew of various races and uncertain occupations, seemingly of meager means. 5 humans, 4 half-elves, one of which is the only female in the room, an elf, and a pair of gnomes. The humid smell of unwashed sweat consumes the air as everyone's blood pressure rises with mounting curiosity. One can't help but wonder why anyone would gather such a disparate mix of wayfarers. So now I'm going to go ahead and describe everyone else in the room but the 4 of you and the tattooed Baldy. So the most striking character of the lot is a large athletic-looking human leaning against the water barrel, patiently drinking from a goblet. He stands well over 6 feet tall, dark-haired and stubbly-faced, with a gnarled hole on the right side of his head where there once was an ear that looks to have been prematurely removed as a battle trophy. He wears pocked and tattered sun-faded armor of grayish studded leather, and a silver amulet occasionally catches the light from between the open buttons of his collar. A large pouch is cinched tightly to his belt. The sarcastic elf mentioned earlier sits at the closest end of the table farthest to the right.
What was the amulet on the guy?
You can't really see it. You can
Okay.
just tell there's something there.
Cool. No symbol.
It's like it's underneath, but you can see some silver there.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and wait for. Oh man.
I tried chatting up the tattooed guy again. Probably tells me to fuck off. Yeah. So how long have you been in service to this family?
Since I was a child.
What do you do for them besides looking intimidating?
Mostly that. And whatever's asked of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard good things about you.
I'm surprised you've heard anything about me.
We do our homework. Arn does his homework.
I would have guessed that you just pulled people from the refugee camp.
We did.
Okay.
We found people that looked like they needed something to do.
All right. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got some time to kill.
Okay, so the second person on the list here is the sarcastic elf mentioned earlier, sits at the closest end of the farthest right table. He bears the slight yet dexterous-looking stature and blonde hair common to his race. He's dressed in black armor with a small pouch on his hip. Empty dagger sheaths can be seen tied to each side of his high boots, where they protrude from under the table. He keeps looking towards the earless wonder, but it's hard to tell if it's a look of contempt or submissive fear. The fat human, who was the brunt of the elf's sarcasm, has brown hair with a pudgy baby face and looks to weigh a soft 190-ish pounds. His brown leather armor has turned a greasy black down the front of his torso, upper thighs, and knees. He may well account for 1/3 of the stench in the room. He sits close up against the table, continuing to eat from the copious pile of food. Just beyond the fat man sits an older-looking human with unshaven salt and pepper beard and long white hair braided into a ponytail. He wears no armor, but an empty and battered longsword scabbard remains attached to his waist by a piece of rope acting as a belt. He's dressed in matching black linen shirt and breeches, and sits tying and retying tattered rags around his well-worn leather boots. A fourth pale-faced human with red hair sits alone at the end of the far leftmost table, leaning back against the wall with his feet up on the next chair. He's picking his teeth with a shard of game hen bone and stares slit-eyed at the only female in the room. He too is dressed in all black with the well-worn boots of a vagabond, which gives the impression he and Mr. Ponytail are associates. The last man of the bunch is rather handsome, blond, a young human with a half-smile on his face. Actually, that should be half-elf. He's a young half-elf with a half-smile on his face. He's the cleanest of the lot, dressed in what appears to be a brand new rust-colored leather armor. His tall black riding boots have definitely traveled more than a few miles, though. He stands between the middle of the two tables, closer to the fireplace, intently inspecting the tapestry above. And now, for each of you guys to describe yourselves, what you look like. I've described everybody else in the room, so we can start with you.
Yeah, when you look over and see me, you see a 3'7" inch tall, maybe 47 pounds at best, little like human creature. He's wearing like a black and pink robe, but not like a normal robe. It's like an acrobat's robe. It looks like it's kind of like tied on the sleeves and legs, as if he's like doing cartwheels and tricks. He has no hair anywhere on his body. No eyebrows, no hair at all. His skin is like a bronzish color and kind of powdery, but like as he's been sweating, you notice like there's like whiteness being revealed as the sweat like drips down his face. He has a pink heart tattooed on his right temple, and a gold chain running under his robe, and rings on every single finger. And he's making that clear to everybody in the room, kind of waving them around as he's drinking his wine and that sort of thing. And anytime anybody looks at him, he smiles and shoots him like he got a goblet of wine and one slice of ham, and he ate 1/4 of it, and he's drinking all of his wine. His head looks like an egg, and his body is the shape of an egg. He looks like an egg stacked on top of an egg.
Okay.
And that's him.
All right.
I am the exact same height as this guy, the only other gnome, and I'm wearing a sort of all my clothes are a forest green color, sort of like this. I'm draped in like green shirt. I have my little newly acquired leather mail that's a little bit dark brown, sort of off-putting to it over me, but underneath you can clearly see that both my pants and my shirt are this kind of green color. I have no piercings or tattoos or discernible. You can see just a chain tucked down going into the armor. You can't see the end of it, and I have very little else going on. I don't have pointy shoes or anything like that. You could say I'm a chubby leprechaun.
No.
And beard, facial features, round. And dude, I've just been eating some turnips, drinking my glass of wine. Yeah, if you were to look at me with the attire I have, you could tell that green is my favorite color. That's it.
When you look at me, very average sized, like 5'4", woman, like stark white hair. If it catches the light, kind of like silvery, and almost as like white, pale skin, with green eyes that kind of look startled almost. And I'm standing by myself, kind of in the shadows, observing the room. I'm eating a hen and drinking meat. I'm wearing kind of like all black rough shape. Looks kind of weird, like bulky, like padded armor that looks like a like a down pillow that you've had for a long time, and it's like puffy in all the wrong spots. I'm wearing that, and I'm just kind of staring, not really making eye contact with people for the time being. Just kind of like observing the environment.
Nice. I'm only 5'6", so I'm pretty short, but I'm like this fucking beefcake dude, and I've got kind of a Patrick Swayze thing going on with like sort of like feathered hair, clean shaven, like really like young, crisp, like active kind of guy, and I keep sizing up the guy with the tattoo because he seems like he's either in charge or like the toughest guy, and I'm sort of like, I kind of want to fight him. You know what I mean? I just like, I don't like, not to like fight him, but to like, I want to like see if I can beat him. And like, that's sort of in the back of my head. Like, I want to like be the best. But I mean, like, he's cool, so like, I don't have a problem with him. But so I'm wearing gray with some dark green, and then I'll let like my amulet out. I have like some pride to it. So you see this like metal chain, and then it's like this metal tree, which is kind of a weird symbol to have a metal symbol of a tree, and that's like a dark green. And of course, like, I don't know if you noticed that I usually have a giant fucking tower shield that's basically bigger than me, and normally I carry a fucking warhammer. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Well, cool. As everyone inspects one another through the thick silence, one can't help but note the contrast of the stately great room compared to its humble occupants. Torches mounted in glimmering brass sconces along every 5 feet of wall now burn brighter upon the closing of the entrance doors. The odor of fermented perspiration and filth is only slightly softened by lavender-scented candles burning in 4 chandeliers made from repurposed bronze-studded wagon wheels, the only understated features of a somewhat lavish room.
Sorry, I'll be right back. You guys
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna wait.
That orange theory is like no joke though.
Yeah, you feeling it? Your body hurts?
Yeah. I'm like worn out right now.
How many times are you going like multiple times a week or?
Well, I just signed up on Wednesday. I've
Right.
gone twice since then. But it's like an hour, like just straight exercise for like the whole hour.
Is it kind of a CrossFit or?
It's like mostly cardio, like treadmill, rowing machine, and then like different weight exercises.
It's like high intensity on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking of when I got hit.
Like HIIT, yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
exactly.
said they're not HIIT on their website, but it sounds like
It sounds
like
HIIT.
HIIT.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
high
But-
intensity training.
Yeah, I didn't realize how out of shape I was. My body's like, chill, bro, chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you stay with it, dude, you'll probably be yoked in no time, bro.
Oh yeah.
And then if you combo it with like decent diet, you'll fucking
That's my problem. I need to like
yeah.
put more fuel into my body than I have been. Gotta like compensate for all the calories I'm burning.
It's key.
And
I-
protein.
A few years ago, I actually weighed like about 20 pounds more than I do. And I actually weighed, before I weighed 20 pounds more than I do, I weighed about 10 pounds less. In a year and a half, I put on about 30 pounds, mostly muscle. But I was like I was macking hard.
Working out,
And
so.
working out, yeah, I was doing mostly hardcore weights, those squats and presses. But I thought, you know, I was a skinny guy, I thought I was a hard gainer,
Yeah.
but if you start macking the calories hardcore, you
Yeah.
put it on and you've got to, if you're gonna be working that hard. But then also one day I ended up hiking up the butte, and like I've grown up all my life being a hiker, and suddenly without a backpack on, I felt like I had a 30-pound backpack on, man. I was like,
Oh yeah.
it was like, whoa, like, and I didn't like it at all. It didn't feel good, and I was like, and so then I pretty much
Interesting.
let it go. Yeah,
You'd think that the muscle that you gained would kind of compensate for
it's a
carrying the
different
muscle.
reality. No, it's a different reality. There's different bodies are made to do different things. You know, like endurance as opposed to strength, and I mean you can do both, but so I lost like 20 of that, but I like my weight now. I wouldn't mind going and putting another 10 pounds on.
Dude, I was looking at like a BMI calculator, dude. It's just fucking a nightmare for where I'm at now. And it's like, I need to lose like 100 pounds to be like a healthy BMI.
Really?
Fucking ridiculous, dude. I don't think I can do it on with the frame I have. I mean, like,
You'd be thin.
I
dude.
know, dude, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go to the gym a bunch too?
No, dude, I wish, dude. I've been saying I'm gonna go back to the gym for like 6 years,
Yeah.
8 years, dude.
How old are your kids? 6?
6 and 5. Yeah, 5 and 6, dude. It's fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my wife's gonna fucking buy a treadmill and have my office in the garage, and so I think I have the stand-up desk, dude. So I'm like gonna fucking give it a shot because I'm in a fair amount of meetings, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I just fucking start doing it, even once a couple times a week, it'll fucking make a difference.
I need to get a standing desk.
It's pretty much.
It's pretty sick, dude. Mine's still like a little bit lower than I'd like it to be, but it's still better than just stationary.
So do you actually like work at your computer a lot
Yeah. I
for
live
meetings,
there,
or are
dude.
you like
I
typing?
fucking live there,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's where I live too.
Yeah, in front of the computer. And like, we have a puppy right now, so like the puppy, like every hour or two going outside is like my fucking stretch, you know what I mean?
Which is good for you.
It is, it's
Right?
helping,
Yeah.
it's helping a lot, dude. But, yeah, dude, yeah, like, it's enough, yeah, dude, I spend a lot of time in front of the computer, and then with school too, online, it's intense.
Yeah.
You're fucking doing it, man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the standing desk, game changer, dude.
My dogs get me up and moving, and that's about it, but otherwise.
Good chair, dude.
Yeah.
Like covered in good Rob really helped out with the good chair, dude. He gave me some fucking butt pads and shit.
I got some extra ones because I have, like, especially as like a bigger guy, finding the right chair or getting it all right. I have random extra like cushions designed for chairs and stuff. If you guys ever want to come and dig through, if you're at a computer a lot, they're in the closet in my office.
I have fantasized about a harness that I could hang from,
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
you know, and then my arms could just
Yeah.
hang, you know. I'd need a drool bucket,
You can get those.
but
It literally reminds me of that land party picture with the guy duct taped to the roof, fucking landing, dude.
Yeah.
all right, can I carry on?
Yes,
Please.
please.
Okay, as everyone inspects one another through the thick silence, one can't help but note the contrast of the stately great room compared to its humble occupants. Torches mounted in glimmering brass sconces along every 5 feet of wall now burn brighter upon the closing of the entrance doors. The odor of fermented perspiration and filth is only slightly softened by lavender-scented candles burning in 4 chandeliers made from repurposed bronze-studded wagon wheels, the only understated features of a somewhat lavish room. The well-oiled tables and chairs are built of strong oak, beveled and spun with fine craftsmanship. The flowing turquoise and emerald drapery adorning each side of the entrance and opposing fireplace shimmer with the sheen of fine silk. Even the tapestry above the hearth glistens from the reflection of the dancing flames. Its embroidered workmanship a finely wrought depiction of a knight kneeling before a woman. She is clad in a flowing white dress with what appears to be real sparkling emeralds, highlighting a pattern of evergreen trees, skirting her hem below a golden threaded sun that rises up towards her waist. There is an entourage of bowmen to her left and right. The knight or warrior is armored with his hand grasping hers, forehead bowed to touch the back of her fingers. As one's eyes play across the rich details of the tapestry, closer inspection reveals the man is the only non-elven person in the scene. He appears to be human. Suddenly, but gently, as one of the great doors swings open, the dusk of late evening outlining the silhouette of a slight though nimble-looking man can be seen. As he steps into the radiant torchlight, you see a middle-aged elf of fine features, dressed in a velvet cerulean blue cloak with matching pants and vest. He bears no weapons or armor, nor any identifying symbols, though the glimmer of a gold ring can be seen on his left hand as he raises his arm in a gesture of welcome. Greetings, gentle folk, and not so gentle, perhaps. He smiles with a twinkle in the eye as he rotates slowly in a half circle, taking his turn to inspect the room's occupants. We welcome you. I hope you found the meal accommodating to your tastes. I am Arn, the bidder of Lord Balfour, master of this manor, host of this meal, and potential benefactor of the opportunity soon to be laid before you. He apologizes that he couldn't be here presently, but hopes to meet you before the night is up. There is a brief pause, and then he continues. This is my trusted associate, Bolin. The glow of gold glistens through the air again as Arn's left arm gestures towards the hardy, bald man who stands from his stool to retrieve a chest from the right of the fireplace, from which he lays these in here. He opens this chest and pulls out a scroll tube. An interesting oblong box. Oh. And a small chest. Go ahead and put some crystals out there too, just for case. Okay.
Is that his gold ring?
Yeah, that's orange gold ring. Needs to be smaller. Okay. From which, so Bolin goes over, he pulls out this chest, pulls out a small chest from inside, and opens it. Proceeds to throw everybody a bag of coins.
Really plug, bro.
You guys can add 6 gold pieces to all of your,
Oh, fuck yeah, dude, they are
Sorry?
so good. Yes.
I am a fan.
Fucking came for the win, dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's dumb.
Okay. Here's a mildly generous token of coinage for your willing attendance this evening. It's given to all the people in the room. And with that, let us now settle into the real matter of business. You see, each of you has been hand-selected not only for your exceptional abilities, but also for your lack of experience at this stage of your promising young careers. Lord Balfour is seeking a certain loyalty that would only be hindered by pre-existing allegiances or responsibilities. In exchange for your inexperience, he will provide you the experience you seek. You see, Lord Balfour requires a party of mercenaries with a creative range of skills to fulfill a wide variety of objectives. The first of which is of a particularly private matter to the Lord. Due to the confidentiality of the issue, few details can be shared until a total commitment has been received from each of you. What I can assure you is that this initial enterprise will not nearly be so dangerous or challenging, as it is more of a, shall we say, fragile matter, in which you would have to maintain and protect a particular item soulfully dear to the Lord. Not only can I assure you generous payment of 65 gold pieces to be given you in advance as an investment in your good word and honor, but I can also promise far more generous payment 1 month from today, the distinct sum of which would be based on your level of success and loyalty to Lord Balfour. On that day, you will be again granted liberty to continue your service with us or retire to your own means. Let it be known anyone wishing to learn any further details must sign a pact of loyalty to the Lord and this next month's undertaking, or otherwise leave upon these final words I am about to impart. Should you not see the generosity offered, or the timing doesn't suit you, our guards will be happy to send you out. Should you choose to stay, Lord Balfour shall thank you in a far more tangible form than a temporal word. Furthermore, take special note that upon your word, you're taking a vow of silence in regards to the breadth and depth of the Lord's personal affairs. I assure you, Lord Balfour is a man of his word, and he expects the same of each of you. Should you fail in this regard, or abandon loyalty in any other manner over the next month, you shall be banished from Eugenia for 1 year. If you're not already aware, the Balfour family has been well established in Eugenia for countless generations. Lord Balfour's influence runs as deep as the rooted cedars of River Road. Respectably and respectfully, should you remain loyal to the Lord, he shall return the good favor and rich rewards. Arn blatantly flashes his large gold ring etched with the pattern of a wagon wheel upon its surface. One reward of which, starting today, while under his lord's stewardship, will be continuous quarters with room and board in the comfort of the River House Inn in Whiteacre. I'm certain you will find the accommodations to your liking. Bolin now opens the scroll tube and hands a piece of parchment to Arn. Arn continues, should you choose to leave, we thank you for your brief presence and bid you depart for the comforts of your decision now. A variety of nervous and hardened glances are passed between a few of the attendees. The tall, one-eared man places his empty cup upon the table, walks towards Arn and sizes him up for a long second, then smiles. Thanks for the fine meal, sir, and the opportunity. As the winds of fortune blow, we have prior commitments. It's never wise to serve too many masters. Arn smiles back. Agreed. Best of fortunes to you and yours. The tall man then slowly turns a full 360 degrees on his left heel, gazing at each face in the room. Landing lastly upon the sarcastic elf, to whom he gives a strong nod towards the door and then walks out of the room. The sarcastic elf looks at Arn, then he too gives everyone in the room a final glance and follows the one-eared man out into the evening. The fat man then hurriedly stands and follows. Finally, the two men in black nod at one another in silence and rise to depart, but not without the redhead tossing a crooked wink to the female half-elf on his way out the door. 5 visitors remain. A momentary stillness descends upon the room. Arn leans into the silence, then lightly claps his hands together. Well then, shall we proceed? He unfurls the large piece of parchment and reads the following words aloud. Honor only comes to the brave. Allegiance is as strong as one's name. Arn places the parchment on the table and proceeds to pull a quill from the oblong box. Lord Balfour will arrive shortly to sign his own name, along with those of you willing to pledge your bravery tonight. I too shall commit my word and allegiance to the success of this venture. Arn proceeds to sign the pact and lay the quill upon the table. The handsome man, in fresh leather, walks from his place near the fire to read the parchment. He ponders for a moment, then grabs the quill.
Who's closest to me? Who's sitting closest to me?
I don't know. We could roll the die, you could decide.
Okay.
Fuck.
Let's do it.
Sounds like a good time to me.
That's what's going on.
You got me with the gold.
I'll dip it in there.
I doubt my God would have me here by accident. How do you spell my name?
ESLIN.
I feel like that happened a little bit in game as well. You're like, oh shit, how is this?
Look at 2 cups of wine is too much.
If it's to protect, then you have my allegiance.
Patiently wait for everyone to sign their name first.
You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dipped it, bro.
No, you bought it.
That's sick.
You gonna do it?
Fucking great, man.
I like it.
The heart. Awesome.
That's a good name.
I like it because a lot of people didn't know how to write, so they would use a symbol.
Yeah, that's it. That's the name.
Yeah.
Make your mark.
Yeah. And that apparently was some kind of legally binding.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
The triangle, see it?
Sign treaties over that shit.
Some people didn't know how to draw. So like, what is that?
It's a rhombus. That's my family. We're the rhombuses.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. I'm so happy that you can see the
ladies.
opportunity that is here. It'll be a few moments before Balfour arrives, so I just encourage you to continue to enjoy the food. And he stands up and walks towards the fireplace, and there's a bunch of stuff stacked up on the right side. There's the 2 curtains, and he just steps behind one of those curtains and disappears for a couple minutes. And after a long 3 minutes, Balfour steps from behind the curtain. He's an athletic-looking older man of about 50. He stands about 5'10" and has dark hair, tightly trimmed around a balding crown, with a beard to match that is silvering along the sideburns and the tip of his chin. He's casually dressed in a white tunic and black leather breeches that look like those of a man that labors for his trade. Compared to Arn, his demeanor is very casual and unassuming. "Forgive me," I hope to be here sooner to meet everyone, but from what I've heard about our departed guests, it may well have wasted my precious time. At my age and good fortune, I can afford many things, but time grows ever more precious. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. I hope you feel well attended to so far. Have you had enough to eat?
I
I like stifle a burp. I'm like,
Very good, very good. I'm so happy to see all of you here. So I see you've signed the contract. What a bit of awkward business. Arn insisted it was necessary, not only as a matter of non-disclosure, but to better understand who I'm working with. He smiles intently at each of you. He then approaches each person and addresses them by name. Neslin.
You got it.
And then Arn steps up and whispers something in his ear, and he's like, oh, and he looks back and forth, he's like, 2 gnomes, okay. A case of mistaken identity, it seems. Arn seems to think that could come in handy. The 2 of you are the spitting images of each other. Well, in form only. I suppose if you could grow a beard, or you shave yours, but anyway, you do look very similar. Aside from the lifestyle, it seems you could use a little good luck. What's your name again?
Noslin. Noslin Netheride.
Noslin.
so there's Noslin and Neslin?
that's
Fuck yeah.
Okay, Noslin and Neslin. Okay. Well, you 2 have much more in common than I realized.
I can see how they mistook you. I can't see how they mistook you for me.
From what Arn has reported to me, you could use a little good luck. I hope that you find it with these fine gentlemen. Neslin,
And ladies.
he reaches out to you. My good man,
It's good to see
so
you.
good to see you. I've heard great things about you.
Bow forward.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you. Arn has sent fine reports of your recent work for us. He wants to keep you in the fold. Please keep yourself in good health as well as these good men and woman. He steps back, scratching his beard. Arn leans in to whisper into his ear again. Well, aren't you an interesting specimen? And I'm not just speaking of your stunning looks, more so the path that brought you here. It seems a bit of a fortunate survival of the fittest may have brought us a treasure. Arn suggests you may prove quite resourceful. I think Kendra may also find you very interesting. Kendra, you may have more luck getting his attention than many. Arn whispers in his ear again. He's like, oh, I get ahead of myself. And then he looks at you. Steelsong, it's a pleasure, young man. You were selected for a number of reasons. Primarily, there's not a man in the room Arn said wouldn't be more trustworthy once you've committed your word.
Which I have. And I spring up and I shake his hand. I'm like super eager and everything. Like,
He takes your hand and shakes it. Right back. He says you'll stake your life on your honor. That idealism reminds me of my son. I'm grateful you're here. I have a feeling everyone in this room will become just as grateful should you commit yourself to their protection. Honor be with you. And then he turns to the man in the new leather armor, right? Asher, you've come on Boland's recommendation. He says there's not a more talented tracker for a half-elf as young as you. Not only are those skills essential, but he believes Kendron, brings him up again, will find them just as useful as I. My only hope is that you help him find his roots and not stray down an unnecessary path. Thank you for responding to our call. Asher says, thank you, my lord. Boland has said the greatest things about you, and I look forward to helping you find your son.
so I'm like, excuse me, sir. Can you explain? Is your son missing?
Yes, I can. With that, Balfour pours himself a goblet of mead and reclines in the far chair once occupied by the sarcastic elf. And so, you must be tired of the mystery. Allow me to invite you into my life. Arn has let you know I am seeking a group of mercenaries to attend to a number of matters. I'm hoping that over time that we may only grow more useful to each other. I believe success is only ever the result of trust. I'm hoping we can begin to establish that tonight. My first point of interest is a particularly private matter. I need you to look after something for me, but stealth is essential, while also being forthright. You see, I need you to look after my son. There is nothing I value more in this world. Sadly, he wants nothing to do with me at this point. I need you to find him and stay close to him. But he can't see you coming. He mustn't know your intent or that you're working for me. It seems Kendron has grown rather resentful of my absence these past years as I've spent much of my time attending to matters of business in Portlandia. We grew quite close through his adolescence and our mutual grief of his mother's disappearance in the calamity of Woodburn. But as he's grown older, he's become critical of our family's dependence upon lumber for the profits we derive from shipping. Little does he know I was just as much an idealist when I was his age, but my father ultimately helped me see how much our services provide in supplying food and so many other resources to some of the most remote regions of Oregonia. Mostly it seems he wants to sow his wild oats. If he's not enamored by the loins of a young woman, he's drawn by the lust of the blade. He's taken a reckless fondness for supposedly protecting the local region from the recent influx of brigands that have been terrorizing the highways, not to mention whatever else crawls through the wilds. Unfortunately, I fear it's more likely it's he who needs protection. He's a bright young man with a good heart, but he's rather cavalier in his naivete. He doesn't have the sufficient training to be so brave. Yet he insists there is only one way to get it. I've sent Bolin off to retrieve him, and I've even tried to find him myself, but that only sends him further astray as he avoids every attempt at reconciliation. That's why I need some willing souls, such as your group is comprised. Someone he won't recognize as a direct agent working for me. He needs to see you as one of his own. Indeed, I think he will, and perhaps you may see the same in him. As I said, he's a good boy, or man, but you must maintain your secrecy, at least initially. It may be some time before he might return to Eugenia with you. If that's the case, I would happily compensate you simply to join him in his idealism. Protect him as he protects his lands. See that he doesn't venture too far from home. If you can bring him home, even for a brief time, I will see you are paid honorably, and I will open the doors of Eugenia to you. At the end of the day, please assure his safety. If you must use force and even reveal my patronage to you, I will leave that last resort to your good conscience. Whatever it takes to assure his safety, I've already lost his mother. I couldn't bear to lose our only child, heir to all I have.
We'll get him. We'll protect him.
What is your name again?
Balfour.
Yeah, we'll try helping him. We'll try talking him into it. But one way or the other, we'll bring him back here.
You must maintain utter secrecy. He needs to meet you as he would meet any stranger. He needs to be charmed.
Where did you say he was generally located, fighting?
I've only heard rumors, as I've told you. He hasn't wanted anything to do with me directly, or Bolin, and they virtually grew up together. Bolin's only a few years older than him. Bolin's my right-hand man. I've known his father beforehand, all of it, but at this point in time, he's resisting every effort we attempt to just love him and care for him. I've heard rumor that he's gone to Cottage Grove, but things get confusing from there. I've mostly heard details that he's taken up with a whore and is ashamed to be seen with her in Eugenia, as he should be. I've also heard he has taken up with a private mercenary group and is seeking training from an established officer from the field patrol. I'm not sure which is more concerning.
Can I ask why that would be concerning? I'm new to the area.
As I said, I don't feel he has the training to be seeking battle.
Oh, okay, I understand.
And As for the whore, we have a bloodline. He used to live within his dreams, within the reality of his life.
Do you have a
Say no
name
more.
for her?
No, I haven't. My best advice would be for you to infiltrate his social network here in Eugenia. Perhaps you can befriend some of them to acquire details they will never share with me or Arn or Bolin. His childhood friend Drake Silverbane, son of Langdon, another city father here, likes to act important by buying his friends endless ales at the wetlands. You can find him there almost any day.
What kind of hobbies, interests does your son have?
Whores and swords.
Got it. Okay.
And Asher here, Bolin feels, may offer other interests. Asher's a trained tracker, and Kendrin has a love for the wilds and hunting and exploring, and so with Asher also being a half-elf, we're hoping that they may make a quick alliance, and Asher having the tracking abilities, hopefully he can assist all of you in finding him. And Grim, as a female half-elf, you also may get his interest quite easily. I encourage you to take full advantage of all of your abilities.
Any defining characteristics of Kendrick?
Yeah, I thought you might ask that. Well, what might be surprising for you is you wouldn't recognize him because he doesn't look like me. You see, he's a half-elf.
Okay.
He has brownish curly hair with blonde highlights. He also wears a ring like this on his right hand, and he shows you a silver ring that on the head it has 3 small stars in the shape of a triangle. He also has that symbol tattooed on the inside of his left wrist.
I raised my hand.
Muslim.
Yeah, Balgor, I got a couple questions.
Balfour.
Balfour? That's what I said. What did you say?
Oh, I thought you said Balgor.
It's Balgor?
It's
About
Balfour.
4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I kept saying.
You messing with me?
Anyway, Balgor, I got a couple questions.
Okay.
First of all, so like when we find him, right? I haven't met a lot of men I couldn't try, as you can see. But say for whatever reason I can't convince him. What would you? We bop him on the head.
No,
We
no.
blind him.
We're in this for the long haul.
So convince him to come back.
So as I did say, that trust is of the utmost importance.
Uh huh.
Bolin has worked for me for the entirety of his lifetime. Arn I have known since I was born.
Uh-huh.
Strength comes in long allegiance. I have many things that I would like to hire you for. The first thing, though, I really want is for you to help my son live a long life.
Sure.
So patience is important. Stealth. Don't blow your cover, you will be useless to me. And consider this a task in which you're going to prove that you're useful for
Fair enough. I'm a discreet individual. One of the most discreet you'll meet.
me. I can tell by the jewelry you're wearing,
Yeah, absolutely.
by the costume jewelry.
You seem like a man of discerning taste. That's good. That's good. If we convince him to be on board again, we bring him back into the fold, right? Convince him of everything you want. Can we negotiate a bonus?
Oh, yeah. So, to start the journey in good faith, I'm going to give you lodging whenever you're in town. You're going to stay at the River House Inn, which is an old mercenary keep, run by some fine individuals, and you'll find the accommodations both comforting and secure. Room and board will be covered whenever you're in Eugene looking for me. And if you go to Down to Earth Armorers in downtown Eugene, you can go and supply yourself with whatever you need, up to 65 gold pieces to begin this journey. Anything that you don't spend within those 65 gold pieces will be delivered to you in gold. Jarl Inglehorn, the surly dwarf that owns the place, is indebted to me.
Is that the guy I know?
No.
Oh, okay.
Can I say?
It's the same person.
Yeah, no, yeah.
65 American gold.
American dollars.
This guy name's confused. Let's see here. Oh, Strong. Strong Inglehorn.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong, yeah.
Strong.
Strong. And his son Jasper. So, yeah, he will take care of you up to 65 gold pieces. If you need the gold over the supplies, he'll give that to you. Tonight, you've arranged for the wagon to take you on to the river house,
Yeah.
accommodate you.
Question. Does Kindred have a line on the family money, or is he out there solo?
Right, like how's he living right now?
Yeah.
We have no idea, he's not getting anything from us.
Okay, that was way different than that.
Okay, yeah. I was like, yeah.
I was like, damn. Right from the throat, bro.
Good question. Good question. That's also why we're concerned.
What about his politics? You mentioned so he's interested in helping like small towns and people in need, which is incredibly honorable. I can get behind that, and of course we'll protect him. Is he? So he's half elven. So is he perhaps a little too sympathetic to elvish causes? Anything like that? Any extremist behavior that we may want to be aware of? Like, if we're trying to befriend the guy, I want to make sure that we have the same views.
As a loving father, I appreciate his deals. As a concerned father, I don't. His frustrations with me is our reliance upon the lumber. He feels protective of the woodlands, understandably so. You should. There is a proper way to go about living within this world. He apparently doesn't think I'm living as properly as he would like, and I feel the same about him. So, looking at the amulet that you're wearing, and in vetting all of you, we actually felt that you were quite an appropriate match for befriending my son.
The only concern that I have, I will do everything I can to protect him, but I'm not willing to like kill innocents to go along with any plan that he has in protecting the trees, that kind of behavior. And so I'll do what I can.
I'm not following?
Like if he's like hard set on like defending the trees at all costs, and that means like killing people, I'm not gonna go along with him. And that may mean that like I drag him back here. So I'm just letting you know that like I'll do what I can.
Unless his life is on the line, I would encourage you to not blow your cover. You don't have to do something that's against your values.
Yeah, just as long as we're on the same page there.
I don't quite know what he's doing. My understanding is, from everything I've seen in his idealism, he is more inclined to protect the oppressed and those that are being taken advantage of.
I'm on board with that. We just hope this guy isn't like a fucking crazy eco-terrorist fucking nut job, but like, hey, whatever. I don't say that to him.
Yeah, I was thinking it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt the boy's an eco-terrorist taking up with the Ents, you know. I imagine he's just into some young shenanigans.
No big deal.
I propose a toast to our guest.
I bet you
About
do.
We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you.
Thank you
For
for
the
your time and
food.
allegiance.
It's Kendrick.
May we be friends.
Long life for you and your son.
Arn, it's time for me to retire for the night, but please, did you finish up the maps that you were working on? I would love for you to give one to our fine guests here. And with that, Arn goes and retrieves some work that he just recently finished.
Oh, hell yeah.
Of
Nice.
Eugenia.
Where did Drake Silverbane get drunk?
Wetlands.
The wetlands.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
That was in Cottage Grove.
No,
No,
so the
that's in
wetlands
Eugenia.
are,
That's in Eugenia.
yeah, they're off of Chambers and,
Cottage Grove was the last place that they heard had a wetland.
yeah.
But his friends are all.
Do we know how late the wetlands is open?
I've been here for a while.
Fairly late.
3
I
a.m.
do have a,
Yeah, she knows right off the cuff. Okay.
you're free to go there tonight. I would also let you know that you have the ability to buy more resources tomorrow morning at Down to Earth. And I do recommend you get there early before some materials might be bought up. Strom seems to be in a better mood earlier in the day. And at this point in time, we have a carriage to take you to your, but we'll take you to the wetlands if you prefer. It's up to you.
I am like a leaf. I go where the wind blows me. Where Hermod takes me.
Well, maybe we should talk about the plan and figure out what we want to do.
Yeah.
Asher steps forward and says, I agree with that. Why don't we retire and get to know each other perhaps? See what we can learn as far as working with each other.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm ready to go.
Let's go kick some ass.
Yeah.
Well, you might not want to kick this guy's ass, but
I reserve the right.
yeah.
His name's Drake.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That is a strong point.
Silverbane, right?
Yeah.
His pockets sound heavy.
So, you guys want to ride to the
Yeah.
Yeah, the
river house?
Shake the wine. Come for the road.
Yeah, if you guys go up, there'll be plenty of fare and food waiting for you at the inn.
Oh shit.
Whatever you need.
Just for the road.
Help yourself and take your goblets with you.
I
This guy shouldn't be going to the frickin'
So are all gnomes related? I just want to ask like some really fucking dumb racist shit.
yeah.
Well, these guys look like it. They look very different and very similar.
Hmm.
You actually grow like turnips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the hills.
Out in the hills, you'll see the mother or father gnome will be wandering along and see one of us, our hairs pop through the earth, and then fucking grab it,
Just pop.
I'm
Baby
like,
gnome will
fucking
come up.
spellbound, like, oh my god.
Right from the dirt. Wow. We have a
What's your
lot.
intelligence?
Yeah, it's fine, you know?
It's fine. Does that rhyme with 9?
Exactly.
Yeah, this pops right out of there.
Wow.
Look at turnip.
You guys hear a horse neigh outside?
Yeah.
And there's just a regular wagon, not covered, but it's got some benches on either side to take you guys in. It's going to take you on through and out of the old manor house district
Sick.
that you're in right now. And it's going to take you down what's essentially first in Eugene.
Railroad.
And here, if you look at this map, so the river house is over here.
Where's the gate that we came in?
The gate you came in is right here.
Okay.
You can see big tall walls right here.
Good,
on
this
either
is
side of the river.
sick.
It really is, man.
Right. All of these dotted and dashed lines are wall. All
Okay.
this, right? The totally dotted lines are trails. Okay. Here's Main Street. It would be Jefferson, right? There's Skinner's Butte. You guys were somewhere over here. Okay. Like 6th and 7th are King and Portlandia.
Where's the wall on this side?
It comes to here,
Okay, got it.
right? And this is another gateway. This is the one where they will charge
Rich
more
people,
money,
yeah.
right? Because here's Territorial Highway, and they just don't want to deal with a massive, so that's why they have everybody out here at Gateway, right? And you
Okay.
can see there's Mercenary and Marshall, right? As far as, because it was really initially a military stronghold, right? Here's the Beltline Road. So everything out here is where all the farmland is. The Oakway Plaza has a big wall around it too. This is essentially like loading, this is like the intermediary zone of all the material that's being processed for shipping to either come into the consumption of Eugene or just to go out to all the outlying area. Here's where Ferry Street Bridge would come, and so this is a ferry that would put all sorts of wagons and things like that in it, right, to go back and forth across the river. There is the, whatever that Kitsauber Walkway Bridge
Oh, sure.
that's there, but that's pretty much for military usage, right? This is for commercial usage. This isn't really for just a couple of dudes showing up. All that, this is your main entrance for those type of people into the city. Now, there are other entrances all around this way, right? Here's Amazon Creek.
Okay.
Here's Bailey Hill Road. 11th doesn't really go out, like this would be, well, here's Broadway. You know, here's Westmoreland, right? Whiteacre is the Whitaker. Right?
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Here's what would be Highway 99 that goes up to not Junction City, but Allsea Junction. And this would be 126 going out towards the coast, right? Here's River Road, which is outside of the fence line. Right, here's the fence line, so we'll go out here, River Road goes up this way.
And so where is down to earth and the wetlands?
Down to earth and the wetlands, down to earth is right along this street, okay? And the wetlands is over in this area.
Cool.
Okay, and you guys are staying down here. So they take you through here, and you still see more manor houses kind of as you go down here, and then it breaks off into more open kind of orchards, right? And you start to see more houses and things like that. Many of the houses in this area are bigger and nicer, although you start to see some grubbier looking places also, you know? And you're taken down another like dirt road down to the building when you arrive at
Keep
the
going.
building.
I'll be right back. The wine's getting to me.
So this can also get going. This is you guys' full book of stuff. Okay.
So is this? So that you said the third day, right? So like this would be today.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Third day of water. Yep. Who brought those? You did? Those are good.
Yeah. Love Hawkins.
Oh yeah, Balfour needs a sign.
Those are cool. Calligraphy.
I think all the props have been really sick.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think all the props have been really sick.
Cool, man.
Super cool.
That was fun.
I like the chest and the chest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just kind of looked around like, oh shit, I got those things. I can do that. I've had this set here for like 10 years, never used it.
Really?
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Somebody
would
did
you
This
bust it
fucking
out?
moment for this moment.
This gold jewelry, they call it parking lot jewelry. I got tricked by some people, some
Oh, yeah.
Mexicans that were telling me that they had run out of all their gas. I spent like $200 for
Yeah.
all this stuff. And I took it into Fred Meyer's first and did a test before I got it from him. Fred Myers said, yeah, that's gold.
Really?
Yeah, and then the guy, another person at Fred Meyers said, you should probably go to a pawn shop though, they have a better test, and I went to and they laughed, they're like, and the woman at the pawn shop was like, I did the same thing. She's like, that's
Damn.
totally, and she checked it, and it's like completely fake, but so,
Damn.
I gave somebody $200 for it with a chunk. But it really looks pretty freaking, and it's even got like
You know,
markings that say it's gold.
if you wanted to, dude, you could get that $200 back. Same way.
Yeah.
Probably more
They're in a
now.
nice big, they're in an Escalade.
Yeah.
In the middle of the parking lot, and they're
'Cause everyone
like,
fucking
they wave me
believes them,
down,
that's
they're like, my credit card's not working for some reason, I got money, take this, you know, I just like totally, I'm a sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the weight. It's not heavy enough.
It's pretty fucking heavy.
Have you felt a gold ring that size before?
No, this one, you don't think that's,
I mean, it's heavy, but
it'd be heavier?
gold's pretty heavy.
She has both her front paws on.
You mean this stuff's probably not heavy enough?
I guess this is pretty heavy.
It seems heavier than a lot of other fake gold rings you hold, it's heavy enough to make you think it.
It's okay, dude. I bought my wife a fake purse one time, dude. One time, dude.
Yeah.
That's where you
A
are.
knockoff?
Yeah, and then she's like, Sean, you knew you had to